Yes.
Okay. Barbara Bonaty contacted Sandy. I think Sandy, she had some concern about the need for a second auction license. And I pulled the statute to see where we are. In case you are not aware, and I don't know if anybody here does a lot of automobile auctioning, the Used Motor Vehicle Commission has some rules in place with regard to auctions, with the understanding that that particular place that they have specifically exempted in their statute, and they refer to used motor vehicle dealer shall not include any of the following. Auctioneers are auction houses who are not engaged in the auction of used motor vehicles as the principal part of their business, including but not limited to the following auctions: estate auctions, bankruptcy auctions, farm equipment auctions, or governmental auctions. This means that those auctioneers or auction houses who are not in the regular business of selling vehicles are not considered dealers and therefore not required to get a license from them under their statute. However, if you are in the motor vehicle auction business, they do require you, when you apply to get a specific license, you have to get a motor vehicle license, plus there is a specific license for auctioneers, and it is an extra, I pulled the application, extra $400, and that includes public, wholesale, and salvage. So if you are selling, and the statute does not require it, but in the past it's been 5 vehicles per year. If you sell in excess of 5 vehicles per year by auction, then they require you to get an auction license. Technically, you just, right now, according to statute, if you just sell it with regard to estate auction, etc., not as a primary part of your business, then theoretically you do not need a license, a motor vehicle license at all. So,
what's bringing this up? Are they on Barbara about selling vehicles or something?
she's always,
Barbara has her license.
yeah, she has a motor vehicle license. She's had a motor vehicle, as I've got Sandy's problem, motor vehicle license for a number of years. I don't know, you know, she's been required, as far as I know, to get this auction.
What are they doing license in auctions? I didn't think they could license in auctions. That was my big with.
They license, if you are a motor vehicle auction, they do require you to get a motor vehicle.
Yeah, we require them to have another.
Right.
An auction.
Right. And this was presented to the board. It's been, again, some time ago when this first went through, because originally we had a letter agreement with regard to those auctioneers who are not in the business.
We did exemption, bankruptcy, and what else?
It's not limited to these. These are just specific items, specifically auctioneers to auction houses who are not engaged in the auction of used motor vehicles as the principal part of their business. And they list, but they say it's not limited to estate auctions, bankruptcy auctions, farm equipment auctions, or government auctions.
Estate auction?
Yes. So if you sell as part of an estate auction.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
So it's just.
What do you do about a contractor selling out business?
That would probably not be the principal part of the business. If you were selling, if you were in the business on a regular basis.
I know there's contractors got several hundred vehicles, and they go with public auction when they reduce or downsize or whatever, or go out of business.
That question has not been posed to motor vehicles or to this board, to my knowledge. But if it's one event, it may not be, the second license may not be required. What they're looking at is, and what we normally do, if there's a question as to whether it's an auction issue or a motor vehicle issue, we look at the issue itself. In some cases, if it's a regular motor vehicle auction, we get involved because it is an auction issue, not a motor vehicle. They don't regulate
That's what I'm.
of the auctioneer. Yeah, they don't regulate the auction portion of it. They regulate the motor vehicle portion of it.
That's why I'm curious. Why are they issuing an auction business license when they ain't got no business issues, because they don't hear any grievances and they don't tend to any problems? They dump it all on us. I think it needs to go to the legislature and get it out where we regulate all auction businesses in this state except livestock, like it's been.
Well, this was in place, we had members of the board who testified for the legislature when this was going through.
I know the man from Monroe, Louisiana that pushed this damn thing through.
So, you know, if we wanted to go back in, we'd have to get a bill to actually take that out. I think, get into a discussion again, we probably do.
Well, we just might need to do that. I mean, you know, they don't need to be issuing auction business license regardless if it's a damn auto industry or what. They don't need to be issuing a license.
Ms. Barnett asked me to make sure that you guys knew too that last year her license, her auction license through them was 200. This year it's 400. So when she adds up all of her licenses from them and from us, she feels like she's working just to pay her licenses.
Well, first off, I just question this whole thing is if Ms. Barnett requests to put something on the agenda, why isn't she here instead of saying speaking on her behalf? Is there a reason?
There is.
All right.
There is. Yeah, I mean, her son's going off to boot camp today, so.
Postpone
kind of
it.
wants to be there to say goodbye.
Yeah, I think
Postpone
there's some
it.
questions from this board that we would have in order to hear her side and what she really wants us to do. I think she needs to appear here in person. That's where I was going with that. I don't have a whole lot of heartburn with the situation, but I would like to know if you're going to have somebody speak on something. I'd like to see kind of in person, eyeball to eyeball, so we could, if we had questions, we could speak to her about it directly. It's my opinion.
Any other discussions?
Ms. Steinkamp, Chairman. Did Anna say, I couldn't hear Anna, did she say that Ms. Barnett, the motor vehicle, gave her an auctions license as
I don't know.
a
what
dealer's
the-
license? I'm trying to,
I don't know. I mean,
because I couldn't hear. That's what I'm trying to get the clarification of what did they actually issue her? Because it sounds like it's
I don't
a
know.
dealer's license and not an auctions license.
The dealer's licenses for them do require a separate application, which is for the purpose of auctioning,
Correct.
and which is $400.
Okay. That's okay.
And I don't know if she got it. That's what the statute says.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I wanted to make sure I heard you correctly.
And I would like to ask either you or our legal counsel, would it be much heartburn to Ms. Burnett if we waited to our next meeting and had her here in person to discuss this at that point in time so we can make sure that we covered all aspects of this issue?
I'm sure not, because she has already paid for it, right?
Yes.
I mean, so I'm sure it's fine.
Then I would make
But
a
at
motion
least
to
we
defer.
have it on this time, so we can go ahead and look into it, and any questions the board might have about it, we can look into it. And then you want to table it,
Yeah, I'd make a motion to defer until our next meeting with her being here in person to discuss this issue.
and while we look into
You
it.
know,
I got some more to add to that.
And our legal counsel look into it also. Make a second on that, and we can add it.
I have a motion and a second.
I want to add another deal too, if we just add this motion or amendment.
You want to amend
On the
it?
chairman of the motor vehicle commission here to answer questions.
You want me to subpoena the chairman?
I don't want you to subpoena him, I want him to come on his own free will in the court.
Okay, we can
Okay,
ask.
we'll ask.
I mean, I've got some pointed questions for him, I want some pointed answers. And if it leads to having the law redone, so be it. If we're gonna regulate the auctioneers in this state, we're gonna regulate them, everybody but the cattle pullers. And as far as I'm concerned, if they want to issue an auction license, they can issue the license, but they're gonna start hearing the disciplinary hearing with it, instead of us getting it.
I don't think that needs to be in the motion, we just ask if they'll come. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have
Madam
it.
Chairman, did I hear Mr. Sims state that the motor vehicles are issuing auction licenses? Is that what he just said?
That's what I said, Freddie. They are issuing auction license for auction, auto auctions,
Beyond just the
beyond
dealer.
this board.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I heard that correctly.
Insurance license.